back to another episode of Mia's Slumber Party.
I've never had one before.
From the Blackout.
You've never had a sleepover? No, I haven't. I'm not sure what to do next. Don't worry, we know how to make a sleepover a total success.
In my life right now. So this episode's gonna be different. This is an algorithm video because
let's go, girl.
Because if I don't post this video, YouTube's gonna not recommend me an algorithm. Currently, right now, we're in the middle of the Hurricane Beryl blackout in Houston. And this video is not going to be edited because that would take more of my battery. And so yeah. But yeah, I thought I'd just share a few of my thoughts during this terrible, terrible situation. We're going on to day 3 of having absolutely no power. And I'm trying to see if we'll have power at my job so that I can go there and recharge and get some AC because we're smack dab in the middle of Houston, Texas, where it's already hot and there's no power whatsoever. Now, people will say, well, they used to do that back in the day, but coming from a person who lives modern day and is not used to doing this, I would say, why don't you try it and see how you like it, and then you can compare back in the day. Luckily, this is my first time being completely in the heat, in the dead set of summer without AC. But still, it's not nice. And yeah, so right now it's currently 79 degrees, feels like 84 degrees, partly cloudy, in Houston, Texas. Specifically, I'm in the spring area of Houston. And so what's going down with this power outage is that they've decided that the best course of action is to get the people in the center of Houston first to turn on the power for them. So people downtown had power within like an hour after the storm, or maybe some of them never even lost power during the storm, so great for them. But now they're getting out to the rest of Houston, which is very big, and so some places have gotten power yesterday, some this morning. Places like Spring and otherwise that are out of area, they're saying we're not going to get it for another week. What a time to be alive, because another week of heat, not to mention there's people who are dying in this heat, either from heat exhaustion or from people who have to stay plugged into medical devices at home, have probably died because there is no power in their house to keep them alive. Of course, hospitals, universities, stuff like that tend to have power during times like this, but if you were at home and on a machine, you're probably out by now because the power is unfortunately not coming back for another week, and there's no way to revive a person after a week. There's also lacking food, because not only is your fridge going out, you can't use electric devices like a stove or an oven or a microwave, and so all the food you got is going to waste now. You probably can't even cook, and even if you wanted to get food supplies, you couldn't go to the grocery stores because the grocery stores are all powerless at this point, and not open except for those of some Walmarts and some Targets who have generators and are using those. But the line, it would take you at least an hour and a half to get through the line because they're only letting certain amount of people in at a time, and that's what we have to deal with. luckily for us, we have a gas stove. However, so with the gas stove, you turn it on and then you just light it yourself and you can cook that way. However, gas stoves aren't, I'm not particularly happy for those, or I'm not particularly excited for those people who don't have gas stoves. I don't know how they're managing right now. My sister has she has an electric stove, so I don't know how she's able to cook or anything like that. But I also know she's like almost a vegetarian, so she has lots of vegetables in food, which can only last for so long. But there's food trucks around that have power, and so they're selling out plates of food to everybody. I can imagine that they probably rose their prices given the time. And honestly, what I was thinking is, we have a grill. We should have taken our food and had like our food that is perishable, and have a neighborhood barbecue and charge for plates, which some people in our neighborhood already do that regardless of the weather. So why not now when it's right after a storm and we're all suffering through it. What else? I don't know if there's a way we can sue Houston. I wish, like the people versus the city of Houston, because this is ridiculous. I saw someone on Twitter say, how can a category 1 hurricane wipe out a city for days? How ill prepared is the Houston city? And because Harvey was way worse, and there was water damage to people's houses and people's cars and stuff like that, but there wasn't electrical problems like that. There wasn't a lot electrically that was happening. Definitely not to the scale of 2.6 million people being out of electricity. So I don't understand how this is happening. I feel like the city may have turned off the grid to preserve energy or something, but they've lost control, and some areas power lines are actually down. So we're all just out of power, burning up in this heat. And it would be a little bit better if we were more north, it'd probably be in the 70s or 60s or something right now, just a little bit more cool. When we had the winter storm, I think about this a lot. When we had the winter storm, we didn't have power for really what happened was we ran out of power on and off for 3 days. It was about 2 hours of power, and then 5 hours or something like that of no power, and then 2 hours again. And my sister had a fireplace, so we could have used that. Again, we had a gas stove, we could use that as well. But it was better because there was ice outside, so you can use that ice, put it in the bag, and cool your meat while the fridge is off. Or, with the cold, you could bundle up under blankets. In the summertime, that's just it. You're left burning in the house. It's probably cooler outside than it is in your actual house. For lights, if you don't have a flashlight, you use candles, but on top of that, candles you have to light with the fire, so adding more heat to the house it's very a tragic situation and painful and upsetting. And so this is the things that we have to deal with. One thing that helps me a little bit mentally is some tea. So I've been drinking tea, lighting the stove top and putting water and boiling it and making tea. The downside of that is I'm drinking hot tea and burning alive. Currently, I'm in the house by myself. Both of my parents are at work, and I am, through this whole process, extremely depressed. I do struggle with depression and anxiety, so I've just had moments where I've just had full-on panic attacks while being here. I mean, over the smallest things too. Like, I'm building a house of cards and I'm getting extremely anxious because I just feel like I'm burning up, like I can't breathe. It's a lot. It's very frustrating. I can't imagine the people who were trying to or needing to get their prescription that day and now are no longer able to get their prescription because the store is closed. It's insane and crazy. Something else I'm thinking about just now is that when I edit these videos, usually I cut out like all the and likes and extra words and stuff like that. And I did it again. And I really try not to say and I just did like twice. Anyways, I feel like Robin and How I Met Your Mother, which says but all the time without realizing it. But I really try to edit these things out when I'm editing my videos, and I am saying it a lot in this video because that's just how I am, and you guys are gonna see that a lot more than a normal video because like I said, I edit them out. But yeah, that's what is going on. I've been playing Jenga for 2 days by myself. I have these massive cards and I've been playing Sudoku by myself. Not Sudoku. I've been playing Solitaire by myself. I have been building like houses and staircases with Jenga bricks by myself. Been building a house of cards by myself and getting extremely anxious and upset. I may or may not have work. We'll figure out in a few minutes here. And yeah, these days have been crazy. Yesterday we went to a Chinese buffet. It was the most disgusting Chinese buffet I've ever been to. And if you know, like Chinese buffets typically aren't the best food anyways, like because they're just making a bunch of food for people to eat. I usually enjoy them. I don't mind them. Yesterday it was just so off. The fruit was off and flavorless. The food was just, it tasted watered down. I feel like they made it before the power went out and then they were just like, let's sell it now. But like I said, both my parents are at work downtown where the actual power is, and so when we went to go pick up my mom yesterday, there was a bunch of places open. There was a buffet open. So I was just eating as much as I could because I didn't know the next time where I would have like an actual real meal outside of this selection of food we have here. Yeah, I was just eating that. But yeah, it was really gross and it felt so surreal. Like I felt almost apocalyptic. That's how you pronounce that. Because I feel like I'm in this situation where it's like survival mode. Like I have no one to fend for but myself, and I am rationing the food that we have because again they're saying this could last up to another week. So essentially we're not having power for a week or two because they said it could last 7 to 10 days and it's already been 3 days. And so yeah, I'm just rationing the food because the neighborhoods or the neighborhoods and the actual markets don't have food or anything, and I'm gonna pause this right now because they're not funny. Okay, I don't know where I left off, but I'm just gonna start here. My stepfather yesterday got a case of water he got 3 cases of water for $25. Do you know how insane that is? That sounds like freaking, I don't know, like LA price levels. But no, people are wilding out here, selling things at a higher price to get more money. I guess that's the business. What is it? Supply and demand. So they're going off on that. And yeah, it's just a crazy time to be here. I would be grilling outside if I could, but it is so hot that I don't think I can manage. There's nothing like taking a good old-fashioned cold showers in the dark, because that's what you have to do here. And I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of it. Been feeling very dehydrated, of course. Very dizzy, drinking lots of water, which I hate water. I just don't like how it tastes. So I've always tried to avoid it as much as possible, but you know, I gotta drink water. What else? Yeah, just dealing with anxiety, depression, and being here alone in the house. I just stepped outside to put our trash bins in front because apparently they're still collecting trash, and it was so much cooler outside than it is in here. We have a park down the street. I don't know if I can even go there. I would, but it's just like there's so much debris. Like that park actually has some trees that have been blown around and moved by the storm. But it annoys me how most of the storm was just wind. We got a lot of rain, but in the specific part of Houston there was no flooding because we have so many trees out here. Their roots just soaked it up anyways. But the wind really blew away some trees and stuff like that. Our trees are fine. They stayed still. Some of the fences got moved around in different parts of spring. But for the most part, spring didn't, like, within, like, I don't know, like, the end of the day of the first storm, you could almost not tell that there had been, like, this gigantic storm. Like, maybe some light rain. A lot of the area was really dry. And so for the power to be out for what looks like a normal storm as far as just looking at the streets was kind of insane. For 3 days, let alone, you know, a week or two more. And so these are the things that we're dealing with now. I bet, you know, sales for generators are gonna go up. I think my parents are considering getting me a generator at this point because this is ridiculous. But I don't know where you would go to get one outside of Amazon, and if you get Amazon, will it actually get delivered here? How's that working? Because you have to do stuff with, like, you know, use the internet to check in that they dropped it off and all that. I don't know. What else? Yeah, city of Houston is crazy. Mayor, I would like to talk to you. Biden, I would like to talk to you. Because it seems, I have not been really watching or doing anything recreational with my battery because I need it. I think I might go to Target later because they have power, because they have their own generator, so I might just plug it into a wall and sit there. But for me, when I'm thinking about the weather and all the things that are happening right now, I forgot what I was talking about. But you know, the only time I have used it was yesterday. The first day I just was completely survival mode. Let me just save as much battery as possible. I think I saved like up to 50%. Or no, I saved up to like 70% as compared to from like 100. And so, you know, I bet my time percentage on my phone is going to go down a bunch too, because typically I average about 4 hours a day. So, you know, now it's probably like your percentage went down to 2 minutes a day. But the only times I've used my power really for recreational is yesterday when I decided that I was going to listen to music. I watched one YouTube video. Dylan is in trouble. One of my favorite YouTubers. And, you know, internet, Wi-Fi, all those things were very shady because I was just using my cellular and, you know, you know how that can go sometimes. A lot of people have not even been able to make calls or text messages because of the Wi-Fi, and the connection and all that has just been so spotty in different areas. But I posted on Reddit, on the Dylan's in Trouble Reddit, that watching Dylan while being in the middle of a power outage because of the hurricane is the way to go. And someone commented like, are you in the Caribbean? What country are you? And I was like, oh, I'm in the US. I live in Houston. that's that. But I feel like there's like not a lot of people who know about these things that are happening. Like, do people outside of Texas, outside of even Houston, really understand that this storm has caused a multiple day power outage? And if not, why don't they? You know, like, why everybody should be aware of these things that are happening in our country. Since we're talking about our countries, I guess I'll talk a little bit about politics without giving my actual opinions. But for me, I feel like our country is sort of embarrassing itself with its election lately. The whole thing behind it has been, is Trump gonna be a jerk during this debate? Is Biden gonna have a senior moment during this debate? And people are focusing more on how these guys are acting, which, yes, that is important to who's gonna be president and whatnot. It should be, at least. But they're more concerned about if they're gonna throw out these child insults, or if their brain's gonna take a minute to process things, rather than what their belief is, rather than the policies that they're going to be applying and all those things. And I just think it's really dumb for us to just focus on, like, for me, I am a person whose brain has a lot of like gaps in it sometimes. Like, sometimes I am trying to just say one sentence, but my brain just hops around to different things and different thoughts. There's a possibility I might have ADHD because that runs in my family and I need to get tested for that. But but that's just how my brain works. So sometimes I need to take a pause in a moment and just think like, okay, focus on the sentence that you're saying and then get to the other points. Or sometimes I have to write down that other point I was talking about before I start saying that, and not being able to finish the sentence before. And so, yes, Biden might be having these moments because he is old, but he also just might be having those moments for mental reasons, or maybe just because he's a human. If people younger can have it, these moments of brain farts, why can't people older without having to hear, oh, well, he's getting too old to be a president and da 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 da. And I just feel like the focus on the debates have just been, how are these presidents going to behave? Are they going to act like adults who are put together, or are they going to act like children? Has really been the point. And so just looking at updates on power lines and getting these things fixed for the electricity. I am burning up, yo. My arm. So I got a blister on my arm Sunday because I was putting hot oil. My pan was full of hot oil, and I was trying to put my tofu in, and it popped my arm. And so now my arm has these 4 big blisters on it. That was Sunday morning. By Sunday night, we ran out of power. And so, or not ran out, but the power went out because of the storm. And so, I've just been dealing with these blisters and dealing with the storm. trying so hard not to pop these blisters because I'm so tempted, but I know that will make this worse, so I'm not. But yeah, these blisters, I mean, two of them have shrunk, which is good, but the big one, this one wasn't the biggest one at first, but now it's the biggest, and it seems like it's getting bigger, and I don't know what to do about that, which is great. Yeah. Other things that are on my mind, the Ben Platt concert. That is like my one saving grace that I'm holding on to. So I am going to the Ben Platt concert. That is on Friday. Today is Wednesday. Hopefully nothing goes wrong and, I can still go to the concert. But, thank God the concert is in Austin. He didn't have any in Houston. He just had Dallas and Austin, which two places that weren't affected by the storm at all. And now I'm seeing we might have thunderstorms on the weekend, which is great. But yeah. And so he is coming, and I'm going to be there in Austin and stay at an Airbnb where there's power and nothing's wrong, which is great. I'm seeing on the weather that it says that there's a heat advisory for Texas, which essentially means we have a heat warning going on in Houston, Texas, while this storm has just gone on. So how amazing. Let's give a round of applause for Houston and how terrible this is. But yeah, anyways. And so Austin, it's going to be great. There's going to be, there's no weather or anything. It says it's going to be partly cloudy in the 90s, which is not the best, but I'll take the 90s with air conditioning and power over the 80s with no air conditioning, no power, and no food. So I'm only going out there for a day, technically like a day and a half, and I'm gonna enjoy it as much as possible. Like, I'm gonna enjoy going to the downtown Austin and eating ice cream and having food that I didn't cook while burning up. Watching Ben Platt, which I've been following his career ever since Dear Evan Hansen. Some people have been following him as far as like Book of Mormon. Really, I've been following him ever since Pitch Perfect. So he was on Pitch Perfect, and I thought he was the best singer in Pitch Perfect, and they didn't pick him for Troublemakers. And so after that, he did Dear Evan Hansen first, and then he did Pitch Perfect 2. And so yes, I didn't even see Pitch Perfect 3 just because I felt like 2 wasn't that good, and I felt like 3 was not going to be any better. But he did Dear Evan Hansen. I absolutely loved his performance, and I'm talking about the Broadway show, not the movie. I really fought hard for him to be casted as Evan Hansen in the movie, and then what we got was kind of scary, guys. I don't know how they managed to make him look older than his other things. Like, he was in The Politician like the year before the movie, and they took off his beard and curled up his hair for the movie to make him look like a teenager. But in The Politician, he had a beard, and the way he usually wears his hair now, and somehow he still looked younger in that than he did in the movie, because I don't know what they did, but yeah, that was scary. And I feel like if they just talked to me, I could have helped them out so much in that movie, because that was the movie just had so many missteps, and some things were just a mess. Some things they changed did not make sense at all. And so, yeah. And so, he was in that movie, unfortunately. But his vocals were still giving, okay? Like, he was still singing amazingly and beautifully as always, and so that's great. And so he's, throughout all that, he's released multiple albums. His first one, Talk to Me Instead. The second one, Revere. I don't know how to pronounce that. And then the third one, which is the tour for this one, is Honey Mind. And so I'm excited because I've been trying to see his concerts for a while, and now I'm finally able to. And yeah, little weekend getaway, kinda half weekend getaway, because I need it. One thing I'm not excited about is the fact that my check is gonna be a lot smaller this next time, because I had 2 long shifts scheduled for Monday and Tuesday, and the power was out. And if the power still isn't there, like I think it won't be today, there'll be another long shift gone off of my check-in. Basically, it'll be half a check because I only worked 1 week instead of 2 weeks, and that's gonna be very sad for me, because I need the check, and yeah, unfortunately, that's where my life is. I think I'm about to eat a banana because it's there, and I'm hungry. And I love bananas. I wish I stocked up on some plantains before the storm. I was going to, but I told myself not to. And I really wish that I just ignored myself on that, because I love a good plantain. I love to fry them, especially with the storm. I knew that if the power went out, I would still be able to cook it. And I really didn't prepare enough for this. I've never lived through a hurricane before in Houston. When I was younger, my sister lived out here for college, and they had Hurricane Harvey. And, I heard terrible, terrible things that happened in it. But I was still in San Antonio, and I had dance practice in the middle of the summer, because we have to practice. It was a whole thing. We had to practice dance in the summer to get ready for the fall season. Anyways, pay lots of money for them using up our time, but whatever. And so we had dance practice that day, but because of Harvey, it was gonna storm, so they canceled it. And the rain in San Antonio lasted I want to say 20 minutes. And so after 20 minutes, they sent us a text and they were like, okay, we're having practice again. Because it wasn't bad for us in San Antonio. And so I didn't know what to expect. I thought that recently, for some reason, that power in our house has been turning off at the smallest inconvenience of rain. If there was a semi-bad rainstorm, our power would turn off. And then at the store at work was even worse. It would just turn off for no reason. Sometimes because of the rain, sometimes because of the power. And we operate on a strip of stores, so all the stores were out except for Target, who had their own generator. And so we would, I knew that the power would probably turn off, but I would think okay, it's probably gonna turn on for by the end of the day or by tomorrow morning or something. And what happened last time the power turned off in our house, when it came back on, it for some reason did not turn on in my room. So I woke up and I was like, maybe what happened is the power is out in my room again, but not in the rest of the house. Turns out, no, the power is still out, and now we're here. That was 2 days ago. So great for us, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Music have been stuck in my head. I'm not the type of person who needs to watch TV or listen, do stuff that is of modern day, Definitely I've seen an iPhone face. I don't need to do all those things to be entertained or satisfied or whatever. But I will say that listening to music or watching a TV show definitely has just helped me with my anxiety and my depression. Helps me with my feel of loneliness and general sense of feeling like I am disconnected with the world. That's a thing that I struggle with a lot. Is a lot of times I just feel like I'm in like a simulation of life, like I'm not truly here. And so stuff like that can help me to zone out. Sometimes it can help to ground me and help me to see that I'm here, or like help me to just not have those thoughts and think about something else for a while. And so yeah, I've been mostly singing show tunes, you know, different musicals to keep me going. I just talked about Dear Evan Hansen. I have not really been listening to Dear Evan Hansen that much. A lot of Company, Hamilton, what else? Some Heathers. Yeah, there was another one. I listened to Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. Yeah, I am not a book reader, but I've also been reading War and Peace a little bit, which is what Natasha Pierre, The Great Comet of 1812 was based off of. And yeah, I've just been doing that. Beetlejuice the musical, like, I've just been trying to keep my mind off of things and keep going, because that's where the storm is taking me. That's where this power outage is taking me. And I just need an escape. I'm stuck here in the house and I'm trapped with my inner thoughts and nothing to do. And it's hard for me to breathe. It's hard for me to connect and to not feel so depressed and anxious all the time in this situation. And especially by myself, it's making it worse. I'm actively about to have a panic attack, even talking now. And so yeah, I'm gonna go and listen to some music to try and calm down right now. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about my random thoughts during this process. And yeah, let me know if you've ever been in a power storm this long, or something. I don't know. And yeah, this has been Mia's Slumber Party. Good night.